Content of my video is going to look into the capability of WebFOCUS reporting server to send out notifications. So there's a very often overlooked, very useful capability in WebFOCUS reporting server that allows you to actively trigger alarms to the system administrator. So many people know that you're going to have all those information and on the server. So if you're on the server workspace and you look into the log file, where Focus is logging most capabilities and most information in at a print log. So at a print log in here is going to have a ton of information, and it's going to sometimes show you some error messages. So to figure out if there's an error occurring, you can go through the file in here and you might see, hey, there's something going on. So in here you see there was an issue with my hyperstage at a certain point of time. So that might be something that I want to look into. I never captured that error message here because I only would capture it if I actively look into the file. So having done so, I might know, hey, there was an issue. I might want to go in here, go to hyperstage and start it manually from the system in here. You're also going to see there might be some other error messages, critical or not critical. So there's a few things, nothing too highly critical, only that one. But again, you have to actively monitor your log file. Actually, I want to be aware of really relevant issues occurring on the server. So instead of manually checking the log file, of course, I can use the log file as well and put it into any log monitoring tool. But actually, what I prefer is you can use the server to notify you via email if something happens. So first thing, if you're going to notification, there you're going to see all the notification. But to start, you have to go to your system settings and really make sure that everything is set up to really work. So you go to the workspaces set, and there's the SMTP server configuration. So the email sending is not done from the reportcaster. You have to enable reporting server for email distribution in here. So to do so, it's going to be a simple configuration. So you just need your SMTP server, the port. You need the sender email, which is the email address it's used as sent, and you can add a list of people in here that going to be notified by those standard messages. If the server, the SMTP server, requires authentication, you can set up authentication encryption in here. So you can set up the security configuration of your server if needed. Mine is quite vanilla here, so it accepts relatively unsecure communication. I can send a test email in here. So doing so, it's going to send it. I can determine who to send the test email to. So I can use any other email address as well. So I could use both. So send it, and I'm going to get a error message in here, or not actually an error message, but a notification like, yeah, you see, there was a message and that here I got the message, so I can open it up and I can go to that message. I already deleted it in here, so straightforward. So go back in here, send it again, send test email. Again, one addresses, multiple addresses. You see, I immediately get those email messages. There they are. I can look into it. So that is a test mail. That email sending in here is going to use not only by that management of log files, it's also going to be used in case you want to use the add a mail feature, which can send emails directly from a fax. And it's also used if you're using Data Migrator to send out Data Migrator ETL notifications. So you might want to send it up. If you want to set it up for notifications, go to the notification, and there's the event routing. And event routing allows you to determine for each and any error messages in here, so for all of them or for individual error messages by their number, to send a notification. So personally, I like to have notification on a license key expiration. So I can search for license. You see there's the license key expiration. So key expiration is coming soon, and I can select that one. And you see by default that error message is visible in Adder Print, and it's visible in the terminal windows in case you're running your reporting server in a terminal window instead of the service. So if to change it, I can go in here, click on the element, and in here I can now determine, in that filter, I can determine which error message I'm looking. So it has the one pre-selected that I used, but there's also others like agents using too much CPU, exceeding memory limits. So there's a bunch of things, like a few things that I really like not enough disk space in certain folders, not enough disk in edit temp, not enough disk space in deferred. So there's a bunch of useful error message that you want to use for active monitoring, but the key one is quite important. So in here, I can now set up the way that notification is going to be handled. So I can set it up with edit print, I can set it up in the terminal, and I can also tell the system, hey, whenever my license key is about to expire, I can set up that information. I can also have the CC and the blind copy, so carbon copy and blind copy. That's the email thing. If you want to have multiple email addresses, just separate them by semicolon. And last but not least in that list, I can also trigger a procedure, which means, hey, whenever that event, that error occurs, the reporting server is going to start a fax on the reporting server to do something. So you can put more logic in there as well. So you could also do some operational system commands, system notifications, whatever you want to. But that's the basic thing. So I got that information in here for that specific event. I can change it. And in here, I can now see, hey, it's showing me that notification in here. I can go back here. So you see here, I changed it, but I didn't save it. So I want to save it. So now it's in here and I got my customized. So you're going to see two sections in here. So you see the default messages and all of them that you customized, all the messages that you changed from this default behavior are going to appear under customize. You don't need to check the existing ones. You're going to immediately see which of the messages you changed. So again, in that case, whenever you're getting to an expiring license key very soon, you got a notification from the server letting you know, hey, you might want to look into the license key on the system. So that's the topic actually in here. Again, you might want to change others in here. So there's things, of course, a few of them might be too generic, like, hey, a service is started. You got categories in here as well. So information is usually something you shouldn't worry too much about. Whatever is a warning or error might be something that's going to be more important to look into. So agent aborted, things like that. So there's a bunch of error messages in the system. Again, you can also create a completely new one. So you can look into that one. So you're going to look into errors. The drop down is going to show you all the error messages in here. So you got something like, hey, I want to get an error message, or I want to get an email on all the error messages, or I want to get something, is a listener or special services agent crashed. Yeah, like you saw that my case hyperstage was having an issue starting. So I can add that one as a notification information on the system. So now you're always going to get a notification actively from the server whenever one of those events occurs on the system. Thank you for watching.